I'm ranking my biggest weight loss mistakes from the most damaging to the least. Some of them are fatal and others not so much. But with so much misinformation online, this video is going to help clear some of that confusion and hopefully take you one step closer to building your dream physique. So let's break down these mistakes, because trust me, I have made them all. So these are the categories. We have BS, which isn't even a real mistake. Amateur, which is a common mistake but not too harmful. Bad, in which this will definitely slow down your progress. Damaging, and unforgivable, the worst of the worst. First up, we have taking advice from friends and family. This is unforgivable. Trust me, this kept me overweight for years. Unless they've lost the weight themselves, their advice will often do more harm than good. Number 2 is fad diets, and this might be controversial, but I'm putting it in BS. This is because dieting is such a subjective process. Listen, if a diet gets you into a calorie deficit, it'll work. So I think most of this comes down to personal preference. So just do what works for you. Now, next on the list are cheat meals. These can be a little bit of a love and hate thing, but if you do have self-control, then they're a pretty good reward. But if you're like me and get one bite and that just opens up the floodgates, then these probably aren't going to be great. So I'm putting them in amateur. And on the complete other end of the spectrum, we have being too restrictive. Doing too much or too little of anything is never really going to be a good thing. But eating too little calories can often lead to binge eating and therefore taking you further away from achieving your dream physique. So for that reason, it's going in damaging. But what's even worse than that is not doing any exercise at all. Now that is just unforgivable, because without it, you're missing a huge part of what makes a successful weight loss transformation. Next up is starving yourself. This is going in unforgivable. Just please don't ever do this. Not enough sleep. I'm a massive hypocrite here, but unforgivable. See, without enough sleep, it can really mess with your hunger hormones and cause you to be hungrier the following day. Next, we have not tracking your scale weight. Now, this isn't the worst, but it does deprive you of very valuable data, so it's going in bad. Next is eating too quickly, and believe it or not, I'm sticking this one in BS. Now, of course, it does help if you eat slowly, but if you're already eating low-calorie, dense foods, digestion is going to take time anyway, no matter how fast or slow you eat. So I think this one is pretty harmless. But what is very harmful is not tracking your calories. This is one of the many fundamentals when it comes to weight loss, and if you're not doing this, you're going to find it very hard. So it's going straight in unforgivable. However, not taking progress pictures has to be one of my biggest regrets. I thought that these were incredibly overrated, but oh boy, was I wrong. When you're losing weight, you'll often question yourself, and sometimes you'll find it hard to visibly see the progress that you're making. And that is exactly where progress pictures come into the equation. So I'll stick this one in bad, because without them, it can create a very discouraging weight loss experience. But before we move on, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video, and comment down below what is your biggest weight loss mistake. All right, time for some quick fire rankings. Too much cardio, bad. Too much weightlifting, definitely not the worst, but I'll stick it in amateur. Just don't hurt yourself. Overestimating calorie burn is unforgivable. This wrecked my progress because it caused me to overeat and lose my calorie deficit. Moving on from the quick fire round, this one is going to be quite controversial, and that's skipping breakfast. I'm putting this one straight in BS. Listen, I don't think this is as big as a deal as people make out. Yes, in an ideal world, you would eat breakfast, but some people really don't like eating first thing in the morning, and nothing inherently bad will happen to you if you skip breakfast. However, something really bad is going to happen if you make this next mistake, and that's not drinking any water. I don't need to explain this. Unforgivable. Next is eating one meal a day. Never do this. This one's going straight in bad. But this next one is definitely going to make some of you very unhappy, but that's making low-calorie TikTok dessert. So these are things like cheesecakes and cookies and whatever else they have. The problem is they just taste far too good, and then therefore you end up overeating on them. Remember, just because something is low calorie, it doesn't mean that you can't overeat on it. So this one is going in bad. But what is even worse than that is not drinking diet soft drinks or sodas. This is literally the only weight loss hack. You get maximum taste, maximum flavor, and fullness for 0 calories. So not drinking these, I'd say, is damaging. All right, I think it's time for another quick fire round. Skipping strength training. If you don't lift while you're losing weight, you'll just end up skinny fat, which is what happened to me. So it's going in unforgivable. Next is meal prepping. Now it definitely helps, but I've lost plenty of weight without it, so I'll stick it in amateur. And what is arguably one of the worst things you can do is eating out of boredom. This is how I accumulated the majority of my weight. So this one is going straight in unforgivable. And another unforgivable mistake you would be making is not watching this video on how I recovered from my 200-pound, 10,000 calorie cheat days.